2020 is basically shot for Nebraska football. The Huskers, though, need to finish strong and show us something for 2021 at 1-4 right now. We got Zach Reeder on the line from fifth quarter college football to discuss the Huskers with a date against Purdue coming up on Saturday. That, again, with every game across college football being what it is and 19 canceled last weekend, we just hope that they hit the field. Zach, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm growing out the stash, hoping that the Huskers can maybe win with it. And that's what I'm doing, but we'll see if they can make a change.
Have you made a pledge? Have you made some kind of a commitment to that? Is that going to hold out until there's a certain win total or record or something?
I guess I was just hoping that they'd win a game. And then once they won, I could shave it. And I've been just kind of holding off. And, it just seems like they keep losing close games. So I got to keep it going. Not real happy about it. But, hopefully they get a win and it'll all be good.
Please like these videos if you enjoy what we do here. Discussion, debate, and analysis on college football every day. The like means something for us. Smash that like button. Of course, share the videos on social media. Subscribe right here at MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football. I was doing some Big Ten power rankings, and it was tough not to rate Nebraska last in the Big Ten. Of course, they beat Penn State. I actually put them 13th and Penn State 14th, but it was kind of a coin flip. And really, the whole league's a bit of a mess after a few teams that have distinguished themselves, starting with Ohio State, of course. But then when she hit like the 5th or 6th place team, it's just a bunch of 2 and 3 teams. And so Nebraska is not even in that state of the Big Ten being what it is this year, have been able to forge any wins aside from that win against Penn State. So they're coming off another loss to Iowa. And, man, this team is just really underachieved. Again, I kind of outlined it by saying it's kind of difficult to argue that there aren't many teams playing worse than they have this year in the Big Ten.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you mention the power rankings in the Big Ten, it's kind of interesting to look at that because, honestly, if I were to power rank them in my head right now, it's hard to put Nebraska above 13th. Like you said, I mean, I guess you could kind of put Michigan, Penn State, and Nebraska all in kind of a trash bag right now because they're all just in that boat. And who knows who'd win between those three teams at any given time. But, Rutgers and Michigan State come with big performances this week and win games that nobody really expected them to. So you're seeing teams in the league win games that they maybe shouldn't, but you're right. The likes of Nebraska, they're not able to do that right now and finish a game.
Can't typically win without a quarterback, and they're trying to figure that one out. Adrian Martinez had a nice day statistically throwing underneath stuff against Iowa. Not truly effective downfield, but still completed the balls underneath. Luke McCaffrey had played more the previous 2 games. What really means anything right here with a game or 2 to go and trying to determine who's going to be the guy for 2021? What have you seen out there? Do you see either guy distinguishing himself?
I mean, it's tough. I think Martinez, I think he shows a lot of grit and a lot of heart for the Husker team. And he's shown that all year. He's a good team guy, a great guy to have in the locker room. And I think he's going through maybe some mental things as far as in the pass game right now and a lot of expectations. And maybe that's something that's hampering him back. But, I was looking at some numbers from this week, and he only attempted 5 throws, 10-plus yards down the field, 3 of them in the middle of the field in that 10 to 15 range. But like you said, he struggled down the field, only 1 of 2 on passes 20 yards or more. And we all know one of those was the one Austin Allen had an incredible grab on the sideline, keeping that foot down. But he's just really struggled to make those throws. And, a lot of people blaming it on the offensive line for that performance. And it's tough to blame really the offensive line because I think I counted at least 6 or 7 times that Martinez was back there standing with the ball for about 5 seconds. So you can't really expect a line to hold up against such a, good Iowa front for 5 or 6 seconds every time. So I just think he's going through his progressions right now, and I think he's staring down a receiver and taking too much time to find that one guy instead of just moving on to the next one. So I think that's, something big that he's dealing with at this point. But I do think he's shown more than McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey's a better athlete and can get more yards in the running game, but I think he's shown a little bit more passing as of right now.
The way Scott Frost has recruited, he's brought in 3 to 4 guys the last few seasons that were supposed to be playmakers. And Rondell Robinson certainly has been the one guy that has been produced, has shown the production on the field to back up the expectations. Then we've got a whole host of other guys. And so I'm going to bring up one guy. Do we know anything about Omar Manning, the number one JUCO wide receiver in the country? Comes into the program and he's there. He's with the team.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what I know currently about Omar Manning, I think he's dealing he's been sidelined with an injury heading into the season for a while, and then he got healthy. He played in that Northwestern game. But I think he's been dealing with some mental stuff too, so I'm not really too sure. Don't want to speculate a ton on it. But I know that he's been dealing with physical injuries and mental stuff. So there's a lot of things that are hampering him right now, and it's been tough, as a Husker fan to see someone, as talented and, with the upside that he has, not be able to be on the field when Nebraska is struggling in that passing game.
Three other names come to mind when we talk about potential playmakers. Ramir Johnson had 5 carries for 28 yards on Saturday. Alante Brown had a carry, and Xavier Betts had a catch for 15 yards. Have you seen anything to give you some hope with those 3 potential playmakers?
Yeah, I think Alante Brown has some potential. I mean, he's really young. He only got 2 snaps on Saturday, and one of those being that run. So I think you could potentially see him and Xavier Betts. I think he got 22 snaps. I think it's another guy that you potentially see step up in this Husker offense as a receiver because he's got that build to be a perfect guy, but he's a true freshman. So he's really young out of Bellevue West up there in Nebraska. But, those guys need to produce. And just news as of today, a guy like Marcus Fleming, who's been another one of those high recruits out of Miami. He left the program today. He's no longer with the team. So I think you're going to begin to see that because, with Nebraska struggling like they are, I think people are there's some people that are doubting it and there's some people that are ride or die. So you're getting the people that are really bought into the program right now, staying and trying to gut it out during the tough times. And you're getting people like Marcus Fleming who are just going to move on. So, Frost wished him the best. And of course, everyone will wish him the best, but you got to find the guys who are bought in, and the guys who are bought in are going to work hard. They're going to be the guys that end up producing in the end.
So we talk Nebraska football live with you every Thursday night at 6 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Central. So that's Thursday. Mark down the time, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock there in Nebraska in the Midwest. So please join us. You can bring your comments, your questions, your debate topics. We have Zach on board. We got Greg Peterson from Husker Online. We got Husker Hype represented as well. It's a good time talking Nebraska football. And again, we answer all the questions and want to keep that going each and every Thursday night. So we need your support. All right, Zach, is there anybody that you've seen on the field this year, offense or defense, that gives you some hope for 2021? Maybe you've seen a little bit. Maybe they're a role player. Maybe they're on special teams that could break out and do something big in 2021.
I mean, the likes of Rondell Robinson, we obviously know what he's got, and he produced, and he had 9 catches for 75 yards. He had 6 carries for 42 yards. He's going to continue to do that, but you need more guys to step up. I really like Xavier Betts. I think he's got potential to step up and be a big-time player. Alante Brown, you've got this slew of tight ends for Nebraska with Jack Stoll, Travis Vokalek, and Austin Allen, who made a SportsCenter top 10 catch, big 6'8" target. But right now you're going to have to see some of those younger guys on the defensive side. I think Will Honus has really produced well. He's stepping into a big-time role. I don't know who's going to be back and who's not for next year, considering the whole coronavirus, and you get the year of eligibility back. So that'll be interesting to see. But some other young guys, I still want to see Noah Pula-Gates step up at the safety position. I think he needs to get some more snaps for the Huskers, but the secondary's been performing well. I really like what Ty Robinson and Casey Rogers are doing on the defensive line, along with Damian Daniels. Those guys were beasts against Iowa. They really held a predominant running offense that usually wears you down and gets those chunk plays in the end, even if they struggle out the gates. And they did a good job of continuing to hold Iowa down in that game and really gave the offense a plethora of opportunities to win that game. And the offense just couldn't execute in the end. But you got to like the defensive performance and the defensive strides that have been made besides that Illinois game. I have no explanation for that. Like Greg said, we just forgot about that game. We're just going to act like it didn't happen because I don't really know what happened defensively there, but I do like what the defense is doing, and I think it's an experienced secondary. And I think linebackers are stepping up that have to step up, and then the D-line's been the biggest improvement on the Huskers all year.
Purdue and Northwestern coming up on Saturday. We got Zach Reeder on the line from Fifth Quarter College Football here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. We would ask that you would smash the like button and subscribe right here and lock it in for college football coverage every day, meaning just not in the season, every day, all year, all the time. All right. Purdue, I thought until last Saturday that they were a pretty good football team. Their record may not have shown it. For anybody out there that watched the Minnesota game, now Minnesota is not a very good team as opposed to what they were last year, but maybe Purdue should have had a bigger lead. But they had a would-be touchdown reception with about 25 seconds left that would have won the game. But there was a phantom pass interference call that pretty much took away the win there against the Gophers. They beat Iowa the first game of the season. They took Northwestern to the wire. Two of the probably four best teams in the league. But here in the last few weeks, not playing as well. They're trying to figure things out at quarterback as well with Aiden O'Connell and Jack Plummer. And they've had injuries and they've had poor play that have, again, caused Jeff Brom to waver back and forth. They may have arguably the best wide receiver core in the Big Ten with, of course, Rondell Moore, but he opted out early. And then he had about a mystery situation, came back, played a few games, and then we got David Bell, who's one of the best in the Big Ten as well with 43 catches. But Purdue comes in as a pretty formidable opponent. What your thoughts about the Boilers?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a team. I was reading stuff about, the Rondell Moore situation. It was interesting, but I think he's good and back now. But you're going to see a Purdue team that they like to throw the ball. Whether it's Plummer or O'Connell, it's been Plummer lately with the injury to O'Connell. But Plummer's stepped in and played well. And they've actually ran the ball better than I thought. Alexander Horvath is basically a fullback back there at 6'3", 230. So he's not easy to tackle. You're going to have to wrap up and execute just like you did against Iowa. But they have a more formidable offensive attack, with those receivers, and David Bell's out there, Milton Wright, Payne Durham, all those guys outside of Rondell Moore are viable weapons in this offense. So it's going to be difficult to stop this team, but Rutgers was able to get a few stops. I thought that they were really aggressive on the defensive side, not letting Purdue get those. Purdue loves to throw little quick passes to their receivers in David Bell and Rondell Moore, because when they get those guys in those quick passes, they're getting them out in space. And that's all you got to do is get those guys out in space, because they'll make a man or two miss. So the Huskers are going to have to play aggressive on defense, just like they did against Iowa. They're going to have to be up in your face, and they give another effort like they did against Iowa. They're going to give their offense a chance against a much less daunting task of the Purdue defense, which we saw just miserably fall apart last week against Rutgers.
Everybody, again, knows about Rondell Moore, one of the best in the business from the time he stepped on the field as a freshman. He's got 22 catches. David Bell, again, for anybody that doesn't watch Purdue football or keep an eye out, he's one of the top 5 receivers in the league, something in that range, 43 catches, 7 touchdowns. Even Milton Wright with 21 catches is a really good player. They're athletic, and again, they're not afraid to throw the ball 50 or 55 times if needed. And Horvath actually comes out of the backfield and catches some balls. I watched the game a few weeks ago where he had 10 receptions. He's got 26 on the season. And again, he's an old school guy, as Zach mentions, lining up there at the running back position and just barreling over people as like a fullback who is their main option out of the backfield. Scott Frost, of course, addressed the media, Zach, this week, and I know one of the themes that caught your ear was just him basically defending the program, his approach, his credibility, and what he believes is eventually going to be a successful story.
Yeah, and, I find it interesting. I usually watch a lot of the post games. These last 2 weeks I've actually tuned out. It's gets very repetitive when you're losing, like you have over years and years, because you say, like, we got to get this fixed. This isn't working. It's my fault. And it gets really repetitive, and it can definitely gets on my nerves. I'm sure it gets on others. And, I found it really interesting this week, finally saying something different when he said, I've had the state of Nebraska doubt me once as a player. The state of Nebraska, before he won a national championship, they didn't think he was going to be anything at quarterback. And they doubted him. He won a national title, and he's basically doubling down right now and saying, I've been doubted once before. I'll go get it now. And, that kind of gives you it's tough, coming from a coach because, it's not just like, oh, he's going to go do it. His players got to go do it, but he's got to do the job coaching. And, I think it gives you a little bit of confidence. So I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Scott Frost at 10-19 through 29 games at Nebraska after, of course, 4-8, 5-7, now sitting at 1-4 in this very strange 2020 campaign with hopefully 2 games to play. And then we'll see how the bowl season shapes up with everyone being eligible, but only so many bowl slots. So not everyone's going to get to play that wants to play. And there's probably going to be some eligible teams out there that don't opt to play. So that should be an interesting process to see play out as well. Zach Reeder covers Nebraska football for Fifth Quarter College Football. Please join him right there. You see the URL on the banner. Zach, we appreciate you stopping by. Hope to get you on board here on Thursday night. Want to remind everyone that we've got Nebraska Live coming your way Thursday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central.